NFR Extra follows all your favorite cowboys, interviews legends of rodeo, and talks to the best of country music. Follow Nevada Caldwell, Ryland Bentley, and Steve Godert every week as they delve deep into the stories behind the road to gold in Vegas at the National Finals Rodeo. It's revealing, comedic, and sometimes emotional. Find it on Spotify or anywhere you listen to podcasts. NFR Extra. All dirt, all rodeo, all year.
We were still our team, and like Robert won the world in 90 and 91, and then I won it in 92, so as long as one of the four of us was in it there for 93, it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
But that was what we're striving for. But, I wouldn't expect that I didn't ever feel that I had to win the one. I didn't have to win the next one.
Yeah.
But I'm sure going to try to.
Yeah, sure.
So
that's interesting.
So to me, I don't feel that it changed from one year to the next year. I still wanted to win a world title.
Nice.
Or else I wanted one of these guys to. Yeah. So it was just doing the same old deal, just taking care of your end and doing what you could and doing what you can to help them.
Wow.
NFR Extra, episode 97. This is an NFR throwback to the 2019 Wrangler National Finals Rodeo when we caught up with Pro Rodeo Hall-of-Famer and 5-time world champ saddle bronc rider Billy Etbauer. Billy shares his historic run of 21 straight NFR, a saddle bronc riding record of 51 total NFR go-round wins, and his brotherhood with Robert and Dan. Like Trevor Brazile, Etbauer transcended the $3 million mark in earnings. He was the first to reach the mark in one event. He finished his career with a total of $3,015,000 in final earnings. Enjoy our conversation with Billy Etbauer.
In Las Vegas, December can only mean one thing: the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. The NFR is the culmination for the top contestants in the world seeking to share the $10 million purse and the coveted gold buckle. For fans, Las Vegas transforms into the greatest Western party in the world with the NFR experience, which features Cowboy Christmas, the Junior World Finals, non-stop entertainment, custom viewing parties, and so much more. Follow all the action at NFRexperience.com. Great moments, great champions, great memories. There's only one NFR. There is only one Vegas.
Hi, I'm Ryder Wright, World Champion Saddle Bronc Rider, and this is NFR Extra.
Five-time world saddle bronc riding champion Billy Etbauer was born in Huron, South Dakota, and is the middle son of 3 boys who were all first-class saddle bronc riders. Etbauer traveled, shared resources, and competed with his brothers Robert, Dan, and friend Craig Latham. As a team, the 3 brothers and their friend are responsible for 52 NFR qualifications. All 3 brothers were inducted into the Rodeo Hall of Fame. Billy qualified for the NFR 21 consecutive years, winning 51 rounds, an unbelievable record. He was clutch in the 10th round of the NFR, winning at least 9 times. Record-tying rides on Kessler Championship Rodeos, Cool Alley, brought him the last of his 5 championship buckles, a record surpassed only by Casey Tibbs and Dan Mortensen. He was 41 years old at that time, making him the oldest rough stock world champion. Billy Etbauer, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you guys. Good to be here. I
You
appreciate
bet,
it.
little Bill. We're glad to see you, buddy. This is awesome, man. This is cool. I never got to just visit with Billy.
I tell you this, Billy. I worked at the Thomas Mack Center when you were doing your runs, and your name, and just for me personally on the fan outside, whenever I hear Billy Get Your Gun, right? So I love that song growing up. I love Bon Jovi, love those movies. I grew up on that stuff. But now it added more because I understood the rodeo, the NFR, and knowing when you ride. Now I know when I hear that song, I think a couple things. I think of Emilio Estevez and Young Guns and all that movie. But then I think of you, and I think about what the table you've set, kind of the efficiency that you work at. What does Vegas mean to you when it comes to rodeo? Everything you've done. I mean, is Vegas something special in your heart?
Well, sure. To be able to rodeo for as long as I have, thank God for that. And, just the way the sponsorships have come on, Express Ranches, I would have never been able to go as near as long as I did with, of course, God, and then, but like that. That's I figure that's where Express come from, and and then just the whole family. But having that money better to just be able to make a living doing it, and there's just more people into it, and that's just like Bob. He's got a Mr. Funk with Express. That's it. He's got just a big old heart, and he's there for the cowboy and to help rodeo, and he's just the cowboy life, and when you put that many great people together that love the sport and the whole living of it, and trying to be able to help a cowboy make a living, you can't say enough about what everybody has done for us.
Oh, that's fantastic. I want to read this off because I think there's some stuff going on in NFL that correlates here. You're kind of like Tom Brady. Let me read this off. Etbauer won his last world championship at 41 years, 11 months of age, making him the oldest rough stock cowboy ever to win a gold buckle.
That's cool.
There's a couple things we can talk about that. How in the heck did you keep your body together, get in your 40s, just like Tom Brady? What have you done to keep yourself? I mean, you look great right now. I mean, you're sitting here talking to us. He
looks like he could get on.
Yeah, he does.
Well, I guess I wrestled through high school,
nice.
And like Rob was saying, like I boxed when I was a little bitty. Of course, I was,
nice.
I wasn't any taller than a grasshopper, so I got whipped on. And even in the wrestling, I got whipped. I basically got whipped on my whole life, but I was basically always fit. I always kept limber and was stretching all the time, and I wasn't afraid to go out and run 5 miles and stuff like that, and I guess probably when I first started, it was a little bit younger before they really got to exercising and stuff, and I did some of that, but really then I just probably thought I was bulletproof, but I ruptured a disc in my back in '92.
Oh wow! And
so basically from that point forward, then it was, if I wasn't exercising, once they finally figured out what was wrong with me, I was very blessed to be able to even make the finals that year.
Oh man!
And then the guy that I had that was my therapist, they had told my wife Holly that I wouldn't rodeo another 5 years. So and that's what, like picking up Express picking me up to be able to get on a plane and go to the rodeo, sleep in a hotel bed, get up in the morning, do all my exercises and everything. So it didn't matter what was going on that day. I was doing my exercises and taking care of my body, and to be able to keep going, because if it wasn't for with everything, and even the between the family and friends and Bob, I never would have been able to keep going. So it's just being able to stay fit and keep working at it.
So the Billy run could have not have happened if you didn't start taking care of yourself back in the early 90s. Well, thank goodness you did.
Yeah, well, I'd have been done a long time ago, because I was probably off better than 3 months, because from 92 to the point that Bob picked me up in 96, I was probably home at least 2 months, 3 months out of that year that you would normally be rodeoing, because I'd get in the car and I'd start driving, and then pretty soon I was, 3 rodeos, I was back home, because I couldn't even walk around, because it was... you basically couldn't feel your legs. I could walk around in that, but or at least I wasn't tough enough to take it.
That's the traveling, the 8 seconds of the rodeo and that part. It's not the hard part. It's the getting there.
Oh yeah, that's the easy part. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Mm-hmm.
High and pressurized.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it, and that's great. I'm glad he came. He has been great, Mr. Funk. For what he's done. With you guys and the whole bunch, that is amazing. That's a good testament, and that's why Billy's so cool. He doesn't forget that kind of stuff. It ain't him. That was a partnership. Yeah,
well, and even today, I could just as well be just another old guy out there trying to make a living, but Bob's still hanging with us, and to be able to try to fulfill, he already basically helped me fulfill my dreams,
Mm-hmm.
Now my wife and my daughter and my boys, so he's trying to help them, be able to fulfill their dreams, let alone like the Wright boys, any of the PBR boys. He's just trying to help the cowboy, just like the WCRA and everything. He's just trying to put more money in there to make a better living for the cowboys.
Thank goodness that he's come our way.
Yeah, I would. So, okay, you got brothers Robert and Dan.
Yes, sir.
Honorary brother Craig Latham.
Yep.
What's up with Saddle Bronc and Brothers? Seriously.
They're the original rights. You know what I mean? They had the original needed
that's
a
why I
van
bring
to
this
get
up.
there.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, you got the Crawley brothers, right? I mean, why is it like that? How does that happen? I mean, I'm not asking to define it, but like, there's something there.
You don't see it in the bareback
No.
riding. Well, every once in a while in the bull riding here, obviously, but you just don't.
Slim, but nowhere near like this.
No.
I mean, where these guys all win.
Yeah, it's a team effort when you get all done. You know, for everybody to be able to get along and stay focused with each other. You know that I'm riding for you, you're riding for me, and you know it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're helping that person try to get to that next step.
Yeah.
You know, and I wanted to win every time, but you know I'd basically about give up a rodeo, a world title if Craig and Danny could both have
That's
one.
cool.
You know, so they're. And the right boy's going to be the same way, but you still got to be able to get along.
Yeah.
You know, and you know just because somebody thinks one way doesn't mean that it doesn't have to be your way. You know, but you've all got to be trying pushing towards that dream. And you know, even if they don't like what I say, I'm going to tell you what I think.
Yep.
And you don't have to take it to heart, or you can. You know, but I'm you know, and that's just like if somebody tells me something. You know, if I really feel it's going to help me in my game, then I'm going to go ahead and do it. But other than that, then I can just brush it off the side of the sidewalk and just see what happens after that.
You're listening to NFR Extra with our guest, Billy Etbauer. Let's take a quick break. NFR Extra follows cowboys, talks to legends and country stars, and finds the stories that make up the season that leads to the annual showdown in December. Follow me, Nevada Caldwell, Rylan Bentley, and Steve Goder as we delve deep into the stories in and behind the road to gold. Listen to NFR Extra on Rural Radio, channel 147 on Sirius XM every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, with a re-air Tuesday in the same time slot. NFR Extra, all dirt, all rodeo, all year.
Hi, I'm World Champion Jacob Crawley, and you're listening to NFR Extra.
Billy Etbauer's NFR Highlights Reel in Las Vegas isn't a moment, it's a documentary. The South Dakota native won 5 saddle bronc riding world championships in 1992, 96, 99, 2000, and 2004. Just one gold buckle shy of saddle bronc riding's all-time record, held by Casey Tibbs and rival Dan Mortensen. Among Etbauer's most memorable feats, Etbauer won his last world championship just a month shy of his 42nd birthday, making him the oldest roughstock cowboy ever to win a gold buckle. How about 21 straight trips to the NFR? He qualified every year from 1989 through 2009. And then there is Cool Alley. Billy and the legendary Kessler Bronc collided twice on the Thomas and Mack Dirt. The first, round 5 in 2003. He established a new arena record of 93 points.
93 points for Billy Etbauer! Come on! That is 93 points! 93!
Billy and Cool Alley would match that 93 1 year later in round number 10. Billy didn't just win the round, he won the world championship that year to boot.
Billy! Cool Alley! Billy! Will stay there, Billy! Oh!
And those were just 2 of Etbauer's astounding 51 total NFR go-around wins, which is the saddle bronc riding record. Only Trevor Brazil and Cody Yole have more NFR success. And maybe the most incredible stat of all, Billy Etbauer is a $3 million cowboy, and more than $1 million of his career earnings came right here in Las Vegas at the National Finals Rodeo. Billy Etbauer was inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall-of-Fame in 2012.
Billy Etbauer here on NFR Extra.
Do you and your brothers compete? I mean, like when you're growing up, was there a lot of competition?
Well, the age gap, I mean, I would probably say you're somewhat competing, but just like Robert being older and kind of the way our deal was is, I guess when we were little, between, like we all boxed a little bit,
nice.
We all wrestled, but when Wanda and I graduated from high school. Then Danny, Danny was going from, that's what it was. Danny went from 8th grade into high school. Mm-hmm. Then Mom and Dad had went to Wyoming. So Danny did all his high school years in Wyoming. So we wasn't, I wasn't around him for all his high school years, basically. So he just had people out there helping him get to going or keep on going and doing whatever he wanted to do there. So, it was just, you just kind of live with what you've got and what's happening. And, we had a great life, and it's sure fun when you can get everybody together and I guess we all just love being cowboys.
Yeah, I remember these. One of my favorite memories was down in Florida. You guys all showed up down there, and every one of them had their jackets, and they all just sit in this little semicircle, and everybody. That was the coolest thing to see the boys there.
Yeah.
You weren't going to win any money. You might as well enjoy just hanging out with.
That Etbauer brothers here.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Crap. Thank goodness I rode bareback, so I didn't
Picked
have
the wrong rodeo here.
Yeah, and every one of them. Gosh, I bet your mom was proud. That's good. So.
Well, just like that, thank God for Mom and Dad, because for what they had to go through, especially just getting us started and like that thing, with all the sponsorships getting better and stuff like that. Mom and Dad, they had to go through a lot just to get us to the point to where we could actually kind of have the opportunity to do that.
Well, you capitalized. All three of you guys did.
Yeah, you did.
Of course, Danny and Robert picks up and I'm glad that you're still. How are you in the rodeo business right now? I mean, what are you doing? I know you're supporting the kids and stuff, but how are you still involved that still makes you feel that way?
Well, we're just raising a few horses ourselves, and then Holly and my wife Holly and JC, and so they're running barrels and just like that. I think Holly's qualified for the WCRA deal, and I don't think we got JC in there this year, but. And then, with JC being 21 and then Treg's 18, so we're, he's roping a lot. So we're raising and training the horses that they're riding and just doing what we can as far as keeping good horses in front of them. And like we got the school out there at Goodwell it's for Panhandle State, but just trying to help those boys that are wanting to come up ride Broncs and any other little thing. I'm pretty much a homebody though. Once I get to the house, I have too many horses, and like that. I like to do what I can do, but I don't feel that I'm a good speaker like Rob and that, and that's not my. I would rather be home riding a colt.
Yeah,
than
exactly.
I would be. No. And like that, I appreciate. I can't say enough how much I appreciate, and the people I really feel got me down the road. It wasn't just me. it was, but to come out here every year, this is one time of the year to be out here at the finals, and you see everybody that through the last, my whole rodeo career, the last, 30 years, the people that helped me get down the road, and so that's what's so great about this, of being able to just thank everybody, and I appreciate everything that everybody has done.
That's funny.
Totally.
I was sitting there last night. I went to the performance last night, and I was thinking, because after you've been there, that next year when you're watching it, you don't. Obviously not a gunsel or not that, but I was sitting there and I thought, I've been in that arena, and for some reason, I just thought about you. I'm thinking, he's there because he enjoys this, and you come out here and you watch the NFR because you enjoy that. And I was sitting there last night thinking that too. I said, finally, I'm at a spot also that now that, I've been and I'm satisfied with one time being in the barrel there, but just sitting there last night watching. That is a great rodeo to watch too, isn't it? The horses.
Yeah. There's I don't know. You just can't touch it, and even now, depending on what's as things happen, the hair's still standing up on the back of my head because of the scenario that something happened or whatever.
Yep.
And I know. The kids are so many new ones coming up, but I know so many of these people that I rodeoed with, or it's their kids that are rodeoing. Yeah. So just to be able to see that heritage coming on and just everybody, it's just kind of a big old huge famany.
It is. It's a great feeling too, isn't it?
Yep.
We gotta.
I want to ask this. So so the way I look at it, we had talked to Trevor Brazil the other day, not here on the podcast, but he was in the office, and kind of said, how's that NFR retired life? You know, and he just smiled, you know, and you can tell like he's just happy, right? He did what he did and he's done that. But the way I'm sort of looking at this now, you know, it's like parenting, right? You know, you're and grandma and grandpa. So the parenting side, there's a lot of work, man. There is a lot of work to parent. Same thing to get in the NFR, right? There's a ton of work to get to the NFR. But once you done it, did it a lot, won, and now you're retired, you're becoming like that grandparent. So when you get to come back, you enjoy it. You know, you don't have to put all that work in. You ain't going to be losing sleep. Right. I mean, you're not worried about the next day. The next day is just, well, I get to go watch the NFR and I get to go maybe sign some autographs or whatever. I mean, has that kind of been that feeling for you after it was done?
Well, I need to start riding Bronc so I can slow down again. You know, no, it's great. It's like that. I guess I probably ought to feel sorry for my wife and kids to having me around all the time versus having me gone. But, you know, I love it, you know, especially, you know, the kids growing up and being able to be there for them. And you know, anymore, I really don't care where I'm at. I mean, I've got a lot going on, you know, between board and recipient mares for ETS, and I got 300 plus head of them, and raising some of my own. And I like to start everything, at least everything we're keeping. I like to ride all those colts myself. And, nice. And so, you know, everything Holly and JC's riding and Treg's riding, we're raising and training them. So I'm very content with being home. But in the same sense, as long as I'm with the family, I really don't have to have all that stuff. I mean, I'm going to be playing cowboy or doing something like that all the time. I'm not going to be, you know, I'll never be able to live in a townhouse and
it's in your blood. There's no way.
Yeah, I'm, you know, say like there's one horse that I've started and just periodically I just got to
fast hands, Billy. Nice.
Take a day and just go get on that horse because I like him so much. Just go get on that horse and ride him around, just because, you know. I'm just as long as I've got Holly and the kids with me, I'm content wherever.
I hear you on that with the family, man. That's awesome.
This is NFR Extra, and our guest today, Pro Rodeo Hall-of-Fame saddle bronc rider Billy Etbauer. We will return after the break.
Looking for tickets to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo? StubHub is the official secondary and fan-to-fan site of the rodeo. Fans can buy and sell their tickets through a safe and secure online marketplace. Visit NFRexperience.com.
Welcome to NFR 360, where the NFR experience comes to life. This portal transports you to an immersive visual experience, encapsulating the stories and history of the NFR experience. NFR 360 is a collection of newly produced and historical digital content filled with stories about current and legendary contestants, the inside scoop on all the elements of how you experience the National Finals Rodeo, and inside tips that will improve your experience during the NFR 365 days a year.
Hi, I'm Cody Wright, two-time world champion saddle bronc rider, and this is NFR Extra.
NFR Extra with Billy Etbauer.
Let's dive off into some broncs.
Yes.
Of course, probably the most famous bronc ride ever was on Cool. You know, when you were so many
Cool Alley Dip.
Yep. And there was a horse, and I want to mention this, and I wanted to see what you thought about this horse. He didn't go very long, but he had to be the meanest horse I've ever seen. I wasn't here to watch it, but Polka Dot of Kessler's. Do you remember the big paint that he had that was so mean? He threw Denny when Denny McClanahan was here in the bareback riding. It was a big, tall paint, and I think that was the meanest horse I'd ever seen. What was the meanest horse that you saddled, that you worried about? I know you probably didn't worry about many of them, but because they worried about you more. And I would have mashed you. I would have never let him get out on me. I'd have mashed his guts out before I'd let him spur me like he did. But
well, as far as mean, I don't know, like Blood Brother, he was probably, and I don't know if and I guess you'd call him mean because he like when that one year that I rode him there, and he come around there, and then he goes and wipes out Terry Carlin there after the fact, about like a bull ride, and then comes and hunts him down. But like that, it wasn't too bad, just kind of out there in the arena. But he was a wild, and you didn't ever know what he was going to do. But there was a horse, and he actually come to the finals here a time or two, Mr. Tibbs. But he was mean, because he'd reach back and get a hold of you and bite you, and he'd pull you down in there.
Man,
you had to pay attention, didn't you?
So yeah, and like all that time I got stepped on, like Miss Congeniality, there wasn't nothing mean about her. I just got out in front of her, and that's where she lit. As a whole, there's probably 99% of them, that they're gonna miss you if they can, and it's kind of like that. Sometimes you just can't stay off of them,
Right.
But there's a lot of great horses.
What was the last horse you got on I know that old saddle's probably sitting there at the house sometimes, and you may get an itch every once in a while, but do you remember the last one you said, I'm done? Or do you ever just want to, or did you ever like?
No, I feel that I was ready to be done 3 years prior to quitting, really. I mean, I was ready, It didn't hit me, but I had been riding a colt there at the house, and my round pin at that time was just harder than concrete, and I had this colt dump me on my head, and so I'd go out and rodeo, and I was home for 2 or 3 weeks trying to heal up from that. Right. And so then I go rodeo, I get out there and I start rodeoing again, and I get on 2 or 3 and I land on my head, and I'm in the same scenario. I go back home, heal up, and I did that about 3 or 4 times, and I run into somebody, and I'm just thinking, man, I'm just not getting a hint, I need to be quitting, and anyway, it's somebody, I don't recall who it is, but anyway, they said, well, you'll know when when it's time, you'll know. Right. And like that, thank God I kept going, because then I won the world after that in 2004. Right. And but when I rolled off that horse at Houston it had been 2010 or 2011 there, I rolled off that horse, and when I rolled off, I was done. Walking back the chutes, I was done. There wasn't. Wow. Yeah, there wasn't.
The fire went out that quick. I mean, it was like you said, it was a build up, but you just knew.
But you did what you.
I was ready, but like that, kind of the way it's what happened. I rolled off him, I hung and drug probably as far as I ever have, and it kind of messed my shoulder up a little bit. But, you can basically, it wasn't all those scenarios that when I was walking back there, it wasn't because I was hurting is why I was quitting. It's because I didn't want to not be able to go out there and get on my horse and go rope a cow in the pasture or play that cowboy life, I was just done. My wife, she was pretty sure I was going to make it to 50. And so when I come home from there, then I said, I'm done, and she said, well, when you can get back. No, I'm done.
That's when you start playing her Dawson Legate song. So,
but there's a reason why, right?
Yeah.
So you've won. I'm reading here 51 total NFR go rounds. You're up there with the names to the events that you participate in with Treble Brazil and Cody O. I mean, that's heavy hitter stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you created a whole bar that the guys the brothers that we were just talking about of Saddle Bronc are now trying to. Billy is the bar. You're a pretty humble guy. Like, how do you represent that when you go to talk to guys like Jacobs Crawley or the Wright brothers? I mean, do you talk to these guys at all, or do you guys engage a lot?
Well, no, I basically get along with all these guys, but I'm not one to basically come out and preach or tell you something that you need to do or whatever. That if you come ask me something, I'll give you my 5 cents worth of what it is, But when you get all done, especially when you get to this caliber, they're just like those little things that can help you along, but you kind of got to pick what's going to work for you. But still, you've got to be able to keep your mind open enough that you can try this or try that. That might get you just a little bit farther forward in your game.
I bet they ask.
So. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if first of all, if I'm Saddle Bronc and I understand his accolades, anytime I can get with Billy Etbauer, I'm taking it.
Yeah. Mainly they just like hanging out with Bill though, because that's the best part of it is
like us right here.
The respect. Yes, the respect that you have in the sport with those guys. I mean, it doesn't matter. It may be a different era now. These are all like there's nothing more disheartening than seeing a guy. That guy's still riding. No, that's his son. Don't you get that one?
I've been called grandpa for my boy more than I have dad.
I know. I used to see that on the list. I'd say, why is he entered? Oh, it's his son. It's a little kick you a little bit, won't it?
So, Billy, you're attached to Cool Alley Dip. So, how do you when that was going on, and then you got to ride him again at the NFR? Did you, at that moment in time, were you realizing that you're moving up this echelon of who you are, or did you not even think about it? Or did you feel like some special stuff going on with what you were setting the bar for at that time?
Well, I wasn't trying to change nothing. I mean, every time I come out here to the finals, I was basically trying to be as physically fit and mentally fit and just have everything as perfect as you could and just come out. And what you guys were saying earlier about, you've got your basics, and you basically, if you've done everything you can to prepare for what you're wanting, you just go out and do the basics and hopefully it's there when you get all done. So I can't change anything, or that's not my choice. I just go do the best job I can do, and it is what it is when you get all done.
And everything plays out.
Yeah.
That's what Brad Jermison said.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing. It's so funny that these two are
neighbors,
I guess. We've seen, as a bareback rider, former, nowhere at this level, but we've seen the bareback rigging change so much from the old way to now. I mean, they're monsters, of course, and I'm not saying, back in the day they had to ride in this and that, because the horses are just 100 times ranker now, obviously, and you see that. Go down there one night and watch, and you'll be glad you're not in the bareback riding or bronc riding. Has the bronc saddle changed a lot, or what could change on a bronc saddle, maybe that from when you started to now? Was there this new thing like what they call the big tit on the side of the bareback riding glove, and these riggings are mashed way up and stuff? What do you think has changed, or is there a change in it?
Well, I don't think really as a whole. Now, if you're talking 50 years ago, it has changed quite a little bit, because like their leathers used to be solid all the way around, where right now, basically as long as the outside of your leathers are tight, then you don't really have to worry about the insides. There's insides there, but it's not maintaining, because you can set your saddle up nowadays a lot quicker than what you used to be able to, just like if a horse runs through a chute and pulls out a stirrup, it just jerks your leather out, and then you just put another one back in there rather than tearing everything up, you know. So, but basically kind of as a core of the whole saddle, they've got the rules on, what this saddle can or can't be, like the swells can only be so deep, and your D's have to be set, no farther than this back, and, so there are stipulations that can kind of minimize you to what you can change. So you can't get in there and then just all of a sudden put a seatbelt in your saddle. And,
that's what I was wondering, if maybe the setup or the height.
Yeah, there's stipulations on how much dip you can have and stuff like that. So really, I think the gist of the saddle as a whole hasn't changed that much, especially in the last 30 years, but it has, through the years, it's always changed a little bit.
Somebody finds something and
just
spread
a little
the word.
Something to take a buckle leather out of there that's going to make it more comfortable for you, or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
What saddle did you ride in? What?
I rode old Salisbury, a 606 Salisbury.
No kidding.
Yeah. And that was the only saddle that I could ride that wouldn't keep my tailbone broke all the time.
Really?
I tried one time I had a Hamley for a while. I rode in a Doll for a while that was real well, but between the trees breaking and people just needing their saddles back, then I got Ty Cowan in South Dakota, and that's who I grew up with, and that's what his dad had given him one in high school. And Ty was a big old boy, and so that's what I started in. And then once I won the world, then Ty gave me that saddle, and then I found another one and replaced that. So, but like that saddle, it was always the same saddle. So if I was having trouble and things was going south, when everybody else got a new saddle and they blamed it on the saddle, It wasn't that. It was me, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't have anything because I always, you know, it was always me because I had the same saddle from basically day one to.
Yes. You know, we were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, we were.
With Brett. I mean, we changed the bareback rigging twice a year at least.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe more. You know.
Yeah.
And well, saddles were $800, and now they're $2,800, aren't they? For
and each tree you build, you know, everything's a little bit different about it, and I mean it makes sense, but you know, still when you get all done, you know, I don't know when you get done, it's just that mental game, you know, that you've just got to be able to get in there and take care of your job. It's comfortable,
I used to hear stories about they'd take a brand new saddle, throw it in the bathtub, and run over the tree and break it. And
that was definitely in the old days. I don't think they're doing that anymore.
There's been some run over, but it was because they were hanging out at my house and they forgot it and they ran over it the next day.
You're listening to NFR Extra with our guest, 5-time world champ, saddle bronc rider, Billy Etbauer. We will finish our conversation after the break.
Every December, the eyes of the rodeo world are on the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, the world's richest and most prestigious rodeo. And now you can follow the NFR all year long at NFRexperience.com. You'll find information on Cowboy Christmas and the Junior World Finals, unique blogs and content, access to NFR Extra, and much more. With the Stay in the Loop Club, you'll also have a chance to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas 2021 for the world's greatest rodeo. Don't get left in the dust. Stay in the loop, stay in the know, and win at NFRexperience.com.
I'm Jake Finlay, joining you on NFR Extra.
Billy Etbauer is here on NFR Extra.
Billy, you brought up, you know, the health, right, and the mind game. Right. During those runs, coming to Thomas Mack Center, what were you? First of all, where were you staying, and then what were you doing each day to keep your body like in your mindset? Because of the runs that you went on, you had to be disciplined. So what were you doing here in Vegas in between the times that you had to ride for 8 seconds?
Well, between like, you know, I guess I stayed at between. Well, I've been here 21 times. I was everywhere from Banions to the MGM to the South Point.
Been to them all.
Yeah, you know. So, but basically, you know, and like that. Once I had Holly and the kids, then you know you're kind of catering to them. But as a whole, I was just up every morning trying to get my exercise done, trying to make sure that I stay rested up. You know, and just like that, having the sponsorship of the Express, I had one guy to take care of.
Nice.
You know, and he was very good about just, you know, taking care of my job. And, you know, so he really, you know, and I've done everything I can for them, but he never required me to do anything. You know, he knew I was going to do what I could do for him when I could do it, you know. Yeah. But if I was sore, if I needed extra time to do whatever, or if I needed, say we had to do something and I needed more time to exercise or whatever, you know, but just enjoying the family and trying to stay healthy and keep everything together to get through it.
Yeah, every cowboy has got a different take. You know, I'm always fascinated by the Super Bowl because they say sometimes that's where you win and lose that week before. Yeah. Because you lose your mind, you're having a good time wherever it's at, and then you end up losing the Super Bowl. And we've had people on here, and it's 50-50, right? It's either I get there and I'm enjoying Vegas, I worked hard to get here and I'm going to enjoy this, or I'm sticking to my game. I've done what I'm going to keep doing. What's got me here. Then again, I guess if others are already having a good time at other rodeos, I guess if you get to Vegas, why would you change it?
Everybody's got their different scenario, you know. But like that, I mean, I'm as a whole, it's kind of like game day. You're not going to work as hard game day probably as you are, you know, prior to. So it isn't like you're on a real regiment with just really working out harder. I wasn't, you know, but I was always in the staying limber and making sure that I was up and my back was straight and, you know, that I was just feeling good, you know, that I was still feeling strong and limber and loose. So
coming, I didn't even think about this, so we're just talking about that now, but if you're coming to Vegas, so let's go back to 80s when you're coming here. I know for sure none of these hotels are having the amazing gyms that they have in their hotels today. Right. Whereas today you have spa treat, you got a million things that you're going to, as an athlete, that you can take advantage of. And I'm pretty sure they take care of you guys if you want that, right? Yeah. Did you have some of that at some of these places? Did some of these, because you're part of the newer era of coming to the new millennium, so you're part of some of the hotels. Did anything have that? Did you take advantage of that, like MGM or any of these folks?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess that was kind of the main one after when I got hurt and stuff was MGM. But I was definitely, and like that. I wasn't down there all day or nothing like that, but I was down there and the kids was little bitty and they'd be down there walking on the walkers and stuff. So it was most of the time trying to keep the kids out of trouble while you was down there doing that stuff. But no, all that, everything helps, especially, to just sitting around is so hard, especially on like my back, it was just brutal. So I just always kind of had to keep just getting up and going, whether
keep moving.
Kind of like versus driving all night versus sitting on your rear end all day, that as long as I'm not sitting around, I'm pretty good to go, but you just can't do too much sitting around.
You're like, if you get called at noon in Vegas on day 3, I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like I'm locked in and I got to go. The thinking part, I like asking this stuff. First time I was hanging out with Jacobs Crawley a few years ago, I asked this because it first hit me. I was like, oh my God, you guys got to go ride 8 seconds. And then whether you're good or not, you got to wait 24 hours for that 8 seconds. If you didn't do well, what was did you try to keep your mindset like not thinking about that and just going on to the next one?
Yeah. I guess you're going to go through the scenario. You're going to try to figure out, and basically by the time you get done riding, what happened, whether my feet hung or he ducked left, ducked right, whatever. Basically, and I've been here and couldn't ride a stick horse to water, and I've been, and then I've had unbelievable years, and so you just work with it and just try to keep your focus and stay to your basics and just take care of business, and it just like. That if a guy's having trouble, just like I could call Robert or Danny or whatever, somebody throw their 10 cents in there and you might tweak something here or there,
Leaning on your bros,
So,
so, and this is something that I think we got to start asking this with all these multiple champions. Because Beaver brought up a good point. You won the first one, no problem, right? I'm kind of setting the stage here, but he said it's coming after the next one. That's when the hard part of it, the thinking part, the body part. How harder did it get to win? After you got that first one.
Well, I don't know. I guess I really didn't try to change my mindset. I didn't feel that sure you wanted to win another world title.
Yep.
But like that, we were still our team. And like Robert won the world in 90 and 91, then I won it in 92. So as long as one of the 4 of us was in it there for 93, it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
But that was what we're striving for. But, I wouldn't expect that I didn't ever feel that I had to win the one. I didn't have to win the next one.
Yeah.
But I'm sure going to try to.
Yeah, sure.
So
that's interesting.
So to me, I don't feel that it changed from one year to the next year. I still wanted to go win a world title.
Nice.
Or else I wanted one of these guys to. So it was just doing the same old deal, just taking care of your end and doing what you could and doing what you can to help them.
Wow. How often do you see your brothers?
Not very often anymore, and it's kind of give or take. We do the school the second weekend in May out there, and periodically I talk to them depending on what's going here and there. And Trell and Shade, Robert's boys, I get to see them quite often, or more so because they're kind of rodeoing around a little bit, and then my girls are rodeoing with them, so periodically I get to see them. But Robert doing the college rodeo deal, the coaching, and that he's kind of gone doing that, and I don't get through that panhandle very often. So
I did Guyman. I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I saw 5 different seasons at Guyman one time. Last year it rained, snowed, cold, hot.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Did y'all ever have to stop at the railroad tracks and just beat the hell out of each other? Ever traveling?
No. I want to tell you that we didn't have a little bit of miscommunication here or there, but as far as
I like the way you say that.
Yes.
As far as a knockdown, drag out, I don't know if anybody ever punched anybody.
Because Donnie and Pete used to stop. Well, you know how those two were, and Jim. But Jim was always younger. But Donnie and Pete, they used to throw each other out of the car. They'd go to the railroad tracks, and they finally got so tired of beating each other up. And finally, Pete said to him, and we'll talk about this when Donnie's on. He says, I'm just tired of trying to whoop you. And he said, I'm tired of you trying to whoop me. And they finally was sitting in a rest area bathroom one day, and I'm tired of hitting you. I'm tired of getting hit.
Brother love.
Yeah, I wonder being in there so much, but y'all were always supporting each other. That's what it was such an envious thing to have somebody like that, because we all rodeoed by ourselves. All we had was our traveling partners. You had brothers,
that are champions, right? Like, I mean, you get to lean on people, and
sure,
it's amazing.
No, it was good, and like that, we're, I don't think we didn't have hardly that big of a discussion that you'd have to worry about a fist fight, because there wasn't anything that big going on, that
nothing that a couple beers couldn't take care of.
Well, I don't know. We all got along. Craig, you threw him in the mix, and it just seemed like we was having fun, and
God, to be Craig and get to be with these guys.
Yeah,
can
seriously.
you imagine what a joy?
Well,
that would
and
be?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, Billy, you've been so consistent. You created something that everyone pays attention to, and you think you got family that has also done that. And like I said, I'm always an outsider looking in. When you hear the name Billy Etbauer, you just right away you think consistency, you think champion, and obviously all this what you've said has supported you and got to this point. It's some beautiful stuff, man.
Yeah, it is.
Well, thank
very
you.
nice.
Thank
yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Such a class act champion. We have really enjoyed today.
Oh
with
my
you.
goodness,
this is a joy. You're a hero.
Well,
you are.
Thanks to everybody's help out there in Express Ranches. Because it takes everybody just like that. I mean, that's what's making it so fun.
Yeah,
is
I've done that 300 times. It's okay. Trust me.
It's everybody's help, and coming and saying hi and thank you, and I just can't say enough for the people, and Mr. Funk has just been a blessing, and I'm just.
You'll always be an icon in the sport.
Yeah, you will.
And that's got to be something. We all strive for somebody just to remember who you were, but. You're Billy Etbauer.
Well, like they cannot play Billy Get Your Gun at the NFR. They can't.
No.
Like, honestly.
No, they won't ever. I mean, it's a retired number.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a retired number in the top of the Thomas and Mack. So it's been a pleasure today.
Yeah, this is awesome.
I look forward to it. Good luck on the horses. Good luck with the daughters. I've got one in college. She won the region this year, and I know,
Perfect.
And I've always said it's not what you've done, it's what your kids do that make you the proudest. And I'm proud of how this done, and I'm so glad you're getting some time with them and getting to sit there. You earned it.
Well, thank you. I
Get
appreciate
to enjoy all this.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show, Billy. This is fantastic.
We want to give 1,000 thanks to Billy Etbauer for hanging out with us on NFR Extra.
Want to experience more of NFR? Then visit NFRexperience.com. And we invite you to subscribe to NFR Extra on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you're listening right now. If you like what you've heard on NFR Extra, we would love it if you gave us a big 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe.
NFR Extra.
All dirt.
All rodeo.
All year.
Gotta make it out to Vegas, where the big boys roam, with the rovers and the racers and the bulls and the broncs, and the ladies in the skin